Hello, and welcome to the Career Boost podcast of the Medical Portfolio Hub. Today, we are honored to welcome Professor Lino Gonçalves, a distinguished leader in cardiology, whose remarkable career spans over 2 decades of international recognition. Currently, the Director of the Cardiology and the Heart and Vessels Department at ULES Coimbra, Professor Lino Gonçalves has held several prestigious positions within the Portuguese and the European Society of Cardiology, contributing significantly to its mission through roles in education, training, accreditation, and leadership across various committees over the past 2 decades. Professor Lino Gonçalves was one of the key figures responsible for the Harvard Medical School Portugal program, playing a pivotal role in fostering collaboration and advancing medical education and research between Portugal and Harvard. Thank you, Professor Lino, for being here with us.
Thank you. It was a really great pleasure to contribute to your program. And I'm really looking forward to this interaction. Hopefully, it might be helpful for the young generation of physicians across the world.
So let's go. Let's start with a quick overview. Could you summarize your career journey in just 1 minute?
Oh, that's a very difficult task because I already have a relatively long career. I'm basically an interventional cardiologist by training, although I had, unfortunately, to leave that process of working with patients because I became head of the cardiology department here at Coimbra University Hospital, which is really a large department with 303 health professionals. So I really have a lot of work as head of the cardiology department. I am also full professor of cardiology at the medical school where I teach. As you said, I also have contributions for the Portuguese Society of Cardiology, where I was president for a couple of years. I'm currently the president of the College of Cardiology of the Portuguese Medical Association. And as far as my training abroad and experience abroad, I was trained in intensive care in my clinic. I did my PhD work at the NIH, at the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute in the cardiology branch. And as I said, I had the pleasure and honor to be part of an extremely important and prestigious program, which was the Harvard Medical Program on training on clinical research. It was a really very successful program in Portugal. It trained almost 300 young physicians, not only in terms of doing competitive internationally research, but also preparing them to become the future leaders of the medical field. Unfortunately, it was stopped, but it's hopefully will continue for the near future. As I said, I've been working for the last 20 years or so at the European level, mainly in the field of education, training, certification, and I did that at 2 institutions. One was the UMS, European Union for Medical Specialists, which is an institution that represents around 2 million doctors in Europe, specialists, of course. And also, I worked with the European Society of Cardiology for many, many years in different committees, in different groups, but mainly around education and training. So it was really a very intensive and hard worker life.
Mentorship plays such a key role in success. Was there a mentor or role model who had a major influence on your path?
Well, honestly, Ricardo, it's difficult to identify just one role model because actually I had several ones. Of course, as a start, my parents and my family, because they are the ones who helped me to develop the person that I am. But also professionally, if you look professionally, I had several role models. When I was at the NIH, working in the cardiology branch, the head at that point in time was Steve Epstein, one of the brightest and intelligent colleagues I ever met in my life. And definitely I learned a lot from him. I also met there Alice Unger, who was my mentor. Then he moved into the FDA. He actually left, he retired from FDA 2 years ago. And he is one of the brightest scientists that I ever met. And also, I learned a lot from him. When I was at the Mayo Clinic, I interacted with Bernard Gersh, and he became a good friend of mine. As you know, he's an outstanding clinician, outstanding teacher. During the Harvard Medical School, I had the opportunity to see again and contact again Scott Solomon. I met him many years ago in Portugal, but then with the Harvard Medical School program, I had the opportunity to become a friend of Scott Solomon. As you know, it's one of the most important trialists in the world nowadays. And it was really important to have this kind of interaction with Scott. And also at the national level in Portugal, perhaps one reference that I have is Professor Ricardo Seabra Gomes, extremely bright cardiologist. Unfortunately, he already passed away, but he was president of the Portuguese Society of Cardiology. He was the first to introduce PCI in Portugal, and definitely he was one of the most prestigious leaders of cardiovascular medicine in Portugal. So I'm not able to identify just one, and there are many others beyond the ones that are already said and their names, who also contributed as mentors to my personal and professional life.
Every career has its ups and downs. What were some of the toughest challenges you faced, and how did you overcome them?
Well, that's also a very difficult question, because to be honest with you, Ricardo, it's difficult to identify just one roadblock, because, life is full of roadblocks, some bigger than the others, but definitely that's, I would say, how you can characterize life is a road where you can find really a lot of roadblocks. But, the most important part is not to identify what kind of roadblocks are the big ones or the bigger ones, is actually how you can overcome them. And that's why you need to have some skills. That's also something that you can experience and improve with time and become better and better to overcome those roadblocks. Of course, there are some skills that are important. As I said before, you need to be intelligent. You need to have time sometimes, because time is on your side to sometimes overcome some of these roadblocks. And you need to be patient. Don't rush. Take your time. But at the same time, you need to be persistent. You need to be resilient. Sometimes you are passing through, very bad experience. So you need to not give up. Continue to push as much as you can. And of course, one way to overcome any roadblock is to work hard, as always. But the good thing is that if you do not give up, if you do your hard work, if you are persistent, and if you continue your effort to overcome this roadblock, then when you really are successful and you look back, and you will feel a great joy, because despite the size of the roadblock that you found, you were able to overcome it. And that is the best reward that you can get in your life. So don't be afraid of any roadblocks that you may face in the future. The most important thing is that you can do it, you can manage it, and you can overcome. It's just a matter of becoming, patient, resilient, work hard, and really willing to overcome that roadblocks. You'll never get rid of roadblocks in your life, so you have to live with them. So try to overcome every single roadblock that you are facing.
Let's touch on an important topic: what do you see as the biggest challenges in addressing gender disparities in medicine, and how can we tackle them?
Yeah, that's a very important question, Ricardo. Um, we need to acknowledge that the roadblocks in terms of gender disparities are still there. I was lucky enough to see along my professional life things changing in the, I would say, in the positive manner. I was privileged along my professional life to work with distinguished and amazing leaders, such as Barbara Casadei at the ESC, Susanna Price, also at the ESC, Martine Gillard in the APCI, Isabelle Vardinet, the CEO of the ESC, amazing leader, and Celine Carrera, among many others. So they were all extremely bright, hard worker, thoughtful people. And personally, I had to say that I learned a lot from them. So I do believe that gender disparities, although they are still around, with time they will fade away. Although, unfortunately, I guess that this fading away will be much slower than we would like to see. But definitely, we need to struggle to make sure that they disappear in the near future.
Critical thinking is essential in medicine. How have you developed and applied these skills throughout your career?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Critical thinking is one of the most important skills that we need to use in our professional life, but also on a personal level. Professionally, I have to say that one of the most important persons that contribute to my critical thinking was Alice Unger. When I was at NIH and he was my mentor, we had regular meetings where we had the opportunity to read and critically analyze the scientific content of different articles published in the high-impact journals. And that was really important for me because he is such an outstanding scientist. And he taught me how to look to a scientific work and criticize it. Don't accept everything that you see, heard, or read. You need to be critical about what you have in front of you. And he was such a terrific teacher and mentor in that respect. He was paying attention to the smallest detail. And he was able to see things that I never saw when I read the manuscript. I still remember one day when he asked me to make a critical analysis of an article and a manuscript. And, I gave him a lot of criticism about the article. But he was keeping asking me, more. What more? What can you say more about this manuscript? And I remember that after some time, I said, I don't have anything more to say about this manuscript. And he asked me, did you look to table? I don't recall the number 2, 3, whatever. And I said, yes. And what do you think about this table? And then I remember that this table had, a list of results from, the group of animals that were studied. And I look at it, yes, man, it looks perfect to me. And he said, do you agree with the p-value that the authors presented? And I said, yes, it's it's less than 0.05. But did you check if it's really 0.05? And I said, oh, it's published in a high impact journal. I went through the reviewers and the editors. So why should I do it? And he said, why don't you do it? And I did it, and the p-value was 0.09. So that's one of the most important lessons that I learned as far as critical thinking is concerned. And I have to thank Dr. Alexander for allowing me to learn from him in that respect. And he's still doing it, because at the level of FDA, he was analyzing clinical trials, and he is such an amazing scientist. Unfortunately, he already left, as I said, 2 years ago, but it's really important. It's also on a personal level. And so moving out from the professional level, critical thinking is also extremely important, because in our daily lives, not only at the professional clinical life or our scientific life, but also in our personal life, we need to be critical about what is around us, analyze from a critical point of view what is going on at our side. And definitely, I have to say, and particularly for the young group of people that are listening to this video, that critical thinking is also important for ourselves to become better and better every day. If we analyze critically what we are doing, and if we are able to learn from that, then we become better and better every day. And I do strongly recommend you to use critical thinking in both professional and personal life.
Balancing life and work is no easy task. What strategies have helped you to maintain the balance over the years?
That's extremely important, and nowadays more than ever, because the requests that you get are coming from everywhere, and chances are that you will create problems to yourself, because it's extremely important to keep the right balance between work and family and friends. It's not easy, because some people have the tendency to move towards the work and forget the family and friends. And that's really a big mistake, because you need your family and your friends when things are going wrong. They will support you every time. So it's very important that you have your family and your friends on your side. Now, the most difficult part is to find the proper balance, because it's not written in stone. I'd say that it's a moving target every day, and sometimes every hour. So you have to monitor where the proper balance really is between the work and the family. It may change from one day to the other. One day you might need to pay more attention to your work, but the next day your family and friends might need your attention, and then you need to move your attention to them. So it's, I'd say, if you allow me to say it, it's like an art. You need to develop the skills to be extremely careful in monitoring what is going on, and see who is requiring your attention the most in that particular day or in this particular moment. But don't put your family and friends away, because we might experience a nightmare, or earthquake in your career. But if you have your family and friends waiting for you at home, then there is no problem with the nightmare and the earthquake. The next day will be another day, and much brighter than the day before, and you will survive your difficulties. So I do advise to find the proper balance, but you need to do it on a continuous basis.
Leadership is a cornerstone of progress. In your view, what is the most crucial quality for a medical leader?
Well, first of all, Ricardo, in order to be a leader, you need to have a team, right? You cannot be a leader of yourself. You need a team to become a leader. And I would say that in that respect, the most important quality of a leader is to listen all the team members, listen their opinion, ask their contribution, because if you do that, your team members will feel that they are important. They feel they are contributing to the success of the team and that they are part of the decision process. Moreover, if you do that as a leader, you improve the feeling of belonging that these team members have towards the team, and increases the cohesion of the group and the success of the team. So my recommendation would be to you listen always your team mates.
If you could go back in time, what advice would you give your younger self at the start of your medical career?
Well, when I was finishing my exam of national exam for entering the specialty in Portugal, I had to take this very hard decision. What specialty should I take? I have some specialties that I like the most. And so I had to ask myself, what will the specialty that will make the biggest difference for me to help patients in a significant way? In what specialty can I help the patients the most? And also, what specialty will really fulfill my dreams? Because I have my dreams, I would like to be successful, I would like to help patients, and I would like to perform research, I would like to perform teaching, and to be a clinician at the same time. That's in my perspective. I can accept for sure that people can do just one of these, but personally, I like to do research, to do teaching, and to be a clinician. So, and looking to the different specialties, and particularly looking into the first topic that I said, where can I really make a difference? And cardiology was one specialty where I felt that the doctors really make a big difference. We do help our patients a lot, and we improve their life expectancy, improve their quality of life. And that's one of the main reasons why I decided to embrace cardiology, definitely.
For young professionals starting out, what practical tips would you share with those just beginning their journey in cardiology?
Well, you already heard me to say that you need to work hard, because you cannot boost your career if you don't work hard. You need to be perseverant. You never can give up, because difficulties will come. And as clinicians and as doctors, you need to care about your patients and your families and treat them as human beings. That's very important. It's also very important for you to be humble, because you always learn something from the others, and you must not forget that. And most importantly, as I also said before, you must try to fulfill your dreams. My final message might be a little bit odd for you, is in order for you to be successful, you need to be happy. What do I mean by saying that? how can you be successful if you are not happy doing what you are doing? So in order for you to be successful in your professional life, please be happy.
Looking ahead to the future, where do you think cardiovascular medicine is headed in the next decade?
Well, it's totally unpredictable, Ricardo. If in 2014 I was asked where would we be in 2024 in terms of cardiovascular science and patient care, and if someone told me that, I would not believe it. So in 10 years, cardiovascular medicine changed, I'd say, almost drastically. And I guess that's the same will happen in 2044. So it's very difficult to predict what it will be the reality in 2034. But I believe that this is only a perspective, that AI will be for sure a game changer in this evolution for the next decade. And that's why I think that we need to prepare ourselves, and particularly the young generation, but all of us need to be prepared for this new revolution that is really coming with AI.
Let's end with some inspiration. Could you recommend a book that has deeply influenced you?
Yeah, honestly, as you perhaps already noticed from my last answer, I'm really interested in the AI, although I'm already in the 60s. I was always interested in digital health. And of course, it's obvious that, as I said before, AI is going to be, a major revolution in healthcare. And this summer, I bought a book that is dealing with AI. It was written by Ethan Mollick, who is professor at Wharton School in Philadelphia, in the US. And this book was an immediate bestseller of the New York Times. And the title is Co-Intelligence, Living and Working with AI. I strongly recommend this book for those who are, giving the first step in interacting with AI, because it's written in a very simple way, simple language that allows us to understand the content. Ethan also give us very often practical examples to help us to understand the content, which is also very important for the reader, and actually points to us how can we take the most from this new tool. And he also gave us some recommendations. I think that they are very important for everyone. First, he said that we must invite AI to our table. And what he means by that, he said that instead of putting AI to the side, I don't want to work with AI, that's too complicated, that's too dangerous. AI will take over my job. Instead of having this kind of behavior, you should do the opposite. Bring AI to your table, to your work, and use it as a co-worker, as a co-mentor, as a tool, actually, in your daily life. He recommends, although, that we need to be involved, not dependent on AI, but involved in the loop, interacting with AI, because as you know, AI, predicts the next word. When we ask a question, predicts the next word based on the previous one. So there is a risk, and that was already shown, that AI is not 100% reliable. First of all, because it hallucinates, and this is related to the fact that there is this problem of predicting the next one based on the previous one. So there is chances that there will be a hallucination in terms of the content. And also, it was interesting to see that AI is able to lie. So not everything that AI produces is 100% true. And that's where is needed a human presence to have a critical thinking about AI it generates. So it's also important for you to understand that you can treat AI as a person, the virtual person that you are interacting, asking questions. But by doing so, you also need to be aware that you need to tell AI what kind of person you want to be, and AI to be. So, and that's very important, because depending on the person that you want AI to be, the type of responses, the type of answers might be different. So that's why, the presence of the human in the loop is definitely so important in this type of interaction. And also, he says also something that is very interesting in terms of comments, because he says at a certain point in the book, the current version of the AI that you are using is the worst that you have ever worked with. So that means that the evolution is so fast that still we cannot imagine, the capacities of the AI for the future. So AI is evolving every day, and my humble opinion, we must not, try to avoid it or fight back AI. We need to be clever and intelligent enough to use it for our benefit. That's why perhaps Ethan is using the word co-intelligence. So we need to work with AI to help us to become better and better and to do our job in a more efficient way. And he gives a statement somewhere in the book that I memorized, because he was saying that one of the problems that now we are facing is that the amount of information that is generated every year is so immense that is really making us to slow down our innovation process. And that's a major problem, right? And actually, she said that the innovation is decreasing 50% every 13 years. And the main reason for that is that the huge amount of information is unbearable for a human being. So perhaps this is the right time for us to have AI around to help us to navigate through this immensity of information. And in that respect, AI can do it. But you need to know how to interact with AI. And we need to somehow help AI to help us. No? And that's something that we need to gain in terms of expertise to interact with these new technologies, this new revolution, Ricardo. So I recommend this book for all of you.
And that wraps up our inspiring conversation with Professor Lino Gonçalves. Thank you so much, Professor Lino, for sharing your journey and insights with us from the past to the future. And listeners, please stay tuned for more episodes featuring leaders shaping medicine. See you next time. Thank you, Professor Lino.
Thank you.